to Fitness Love, Podcast 1, Deadlifts and Break-ups. I am Khepresh, and this evening, me and my brother Daquan Henry are about to get into it. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, Khepresh. How are you?
Everything's excellent. It's been good, been a good week. Got a lot of things done. Kind of just want to jump into it. So I'm just going to start on the deadlift part. The deadlift, I feel, is one of the most influential movements, maybe out of 6 movements that we should all do to get better, to improve performance and strength. I also believe to improve your deadlift is going to have to be based off your grip strength. The stronger your grip, the better you can transition weight through time and space. I would also just like to talk about how a deadlift is not a squat, but a hip hinge. So getting your hips to fire back and coming into a nice straight erect position, not leaning back like it's weak in the burnies or some shit like that, like you see a lot of times, fucking up your spine. You don't want to do that. But just standing up, locking out everything, keeping your shoulder blades back through the movement, and letting your hamstrings and glutes do most of the work. That's probably key to the deadlift. We'll touch more on that in a little bit, but I would like to ask Daquan, what's the number one reason do you think breakups occur in this time period, of course?
I feel the number one reason for breakups in this time is definitely lack of communication. Because when you have lack of communication, then trust issues are developed, assumptions are developed, a fabricated reality is developed. And one thing about being in a relationship, you have to establish that bond, and by establishing a bond is being on the same page. And when you're not on the same page, problems occur. And if one person is, give you an example, most women I've encountered, marriage is a big thing for them. They grow up as a child, the goal is to go to school, get a degree, build a family, get married, and that's their life. Now, you have a situation where she wants to get married, and she's been with her man for, let's just say, 3-4 years. In her mind, she thinks that he wants to get married too, but she's waiting for him to make that step. Now, as time passes, 2 more years, and of course, you understand, let's see if her friends around her, they're getting married. Now, that puts some type of pressure on her because she's like, I've been with my man the longest, and I'm the last one out of the bunch that hasn't been proposed to yet. Now, she comes to find out that her man doesn't want to get married. But see, that was something that he should have told her from the get-go. Because now you painted a false reality in her mind, or you told her that you're interested in getting married, just not right now when the time is ready, but he never really wanted to get married in the first place. So that's something, lack of communication, that could create problems. And also, the fact that she wants to get married, she felt like she wasted her time in this whole relationship where she could have been giving her love, her time, and affection to someone else that was on the same page here. So they really were never on the same page. And that's why that's an example of why a lot of relationships don't last these days, because people don't know how to express themselves. And if they don't know, they're not willing to try. And once you're willing to try, the effort alone, the person that you're with, they will see that. But most people, they like to stick, oh, this is the way I am. You either want to take me or take it or leave it. And that's stubbornness. That's egotistical. That's not, you're more focused on I instead of the benefit of us. Understand what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. That sounds like false signals. You know, when somebody gives you false signals, I guess that's got to kill. I know of a particular woman. She moves to New York here, and I guess the deal with her and her man at the time is that she's coming to New York to pursue her career. He said he's going to meet her there after she finds a place to work. She finds that place to work, and now he hasn't been, I guess, per se, looking for an apartment. She sends him all this info, etc., etc. So he's basically leading her on with no eventual outcome. And I think that's just destructive in itself. And that shows up shows a piss poor lack of communication or just negative communication. It's not lack of communication because they're talking. It's just that they're infringing on their spouse's trust. And I think once that's like sullied, it's pretty hard to go back from that. But I would also like to add in, I think the number one reason for breakups now is probably financial. I think that, I guess the old saying holds true, without money there's no honey. So what is your take on that?
When it comes to finances, it definitely is a big thing. But in this generation, their mindset is different from back in the day. Because back in the day when times were hard, your significant other would actually, be there for you, ride it out, do what we have to do if we can move forward. I feel right now, people are more selfish and they're more focused on how can someone accommodate me versus how can we build together? How can you build me? How can I benefit from you? And now, when they see how, because especially when it comes to women love security. Even the idea of it satisfies them. So now, once they feel like they're not secure with you, they're gonna seek it somewhere else or seek security within themselves. So that's something that's I definitely agree with that. The finances is definitely is a big thing. Because without money, how are you gonna survive?
Sure, I mean, it'll just take care of the basics.
Exactly.
Right? And in going into the basics, I'm going to formulate this right back to the deadlifts. Always start with the basics in anything. It's just like in relationships. Ways in relationships kind of, I won't say go completely hand to glove, but it's hand to hand in the way that if you don't get your base together at what like your base is meaning like your end goal. Like, what is the point of you doing anything if it doesn't have an end goal? What is the point of doing anything if you're not coming correct in doing it, right? Like, I believe with anything, it's how we start it and how we want to end it is going to be the key in anything lasting. So, just to begin, we're just talking about our positioning now. I think positioning is so key, especially for like the conventional deadlift and the conventional relationship. How we approach the bar, how we grab it, how we are aligned with it is going to be the same way with how we communicate with our spouse and how we, I guess, breakups will always happen with anything. It's how we break up. Like I feel like breakups now are just becoming so nasty, so online. There's no like, okay, we're done. It's amicable. You go your certain ways. I think now everything is posted like, fuck this person, fuck the friends, and it's always, it just seems so rushed. Like there was never no care in it. And I say all that to say this. With anything that we do, we should put some type of care or function into it. So, with a major lift, like the deadlift, you want to just take your time, work on your grip strength, your position, and slowly garner your weight as you need be. I know people say add on 5 pounds here, add on 5 pounds there, but you should learn to feel your movement and feel yourself out with those movements and make sure your movements is clear. There's a difference between a conventional deadlift and a sumo deadlift. Sumo deadlift, the distal point from the ground to you standing is much shorter, whereas the conventional, the bar has to travel further through time and space, which can be a more strain on the back, etc. So I would just say, go with what you feel. And going back into the breakup category again, I think we break up too easy, thinking that love is a constant. Love is like any other emotion, right? You gotta grow it, you gotta work toward it, And I think if as long as there's respect in the relationship, a breakup doesn't have to be that bad. What's your take on respect in a relationship in terms of breaking up?
Respect is everything when it comes to a relationship, whether it's just starting a relationship, as the relationship progresses, or even ending it. It's very difficult to end a relationship in a respectful way because as being human beings, we're emotional creatures. And depending on how the breakup occurred, whether it was cheating or some type of malicious activities going on, it can affect you in a certain way, and that energy that you receive from that, what you receive is most likely what you're gonna throw back, and if it's negative. So it takes a lot of maturity and wisdom to separate your emotions from logic and to look at the situation and say, yeah, I don't want to hurt you, hurt me, and I'm devastated by it, but at the same time, I don't have to act the way that you're making me feeling, that you're making me feel at this moment. So basically, that's tough in itself. And if you're able to do that and say, all right, this relationship is toxic, we're not gaining anything out of this. Let's just take off what we learned and go our separate ways. You go your way, I go my way. And we were meant to cross paths and visit each other's lives, but we were meant to stay there. And I definitely, if you handle it that way, it's just, there's a level of respect there. But at the same time, that person, you feel like they violated you, it's going to be tough for you to have some type of respect because they lost your respect. Same way they lost your trust. But respect is definitely the foundation, but where do you draw the line?
That's quite interesting.
So, do you think it's safe for fighters and elderly people to deadlift?
Oh, absolutely. I just believe it's how we approach it as trainers and coaches. I would most likely, to preserve their back and their form, put them inside the hex bar, and that gives them more flexibility to pick up the form better with less injuries. So therefore, we can make them much stronger, much faster, in a much safer way. See, fighters are using a lot, putting a lot of pressure on their QLs or what have you, and on their spine, especially if they're doing like jiu-jitsu or some type of MMA or even boxing. It's just a lot of torque happening. So therefore, you just definitely want to protect the spine and the back and how it's aligned, and it's easier to adjust their footing with the hex bar. So definitely, and you can definitely make your older clients feel like he-men or he-women or sheroes or heroes, whatever, by using the hex bar. I have 65-year-old clients that can hex bar deadlift like 315 pounds, and that's something that probably wouldn't be able to do and do it well with a straight bar at this stage in the game, at this late in the game of them coming to train. So it's definitely, I feel like hex bar is a good go-to for safety for fighters and the elderly. I think this is good here until we get to part two. Part two, we're going even more depth and have more of a good time and a good vibe about breakups. I really want to discuss, amicable ways and things that we can do to make it more smoother. And even talking about friends, remaining friends after you've broken up with the person, touch on different things. And I think that would be cool. So, I am Khepresh. This is Fitness Love Podcast 1, Deadlifts and Break-ups, Part 1. And my man Daquan Henry, any shout outs that you want to say before we go?
Just want to give a shout out to your Bonda. Without you, this whole wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, and a big shout out to all plant-based supplements for protein. It's excellent. One of the best things. Check them out online. Live on. Also check out Alkazone water. Really great company. And also look into Forgotten Foods company. They're excellent. And those are like the three brands we rock out here with. And after a long race, definitely Fit Aid Recovery. That's the money shot. Yeah, so thank you again. Thank you for listening. Hope you had an incredible time, and be prepared for part 2. Peace.